Anna from the Bath Township Public Library, and it is our first week of summer reading Oceans of Possibility. This week we are talking all about the beach, and for our teen craft we are going to recycle some old t-shirts to make some beach totes, and I'm going to show you how. Now in your take and make kit that you took home, everybody got a t-shirt, but if you don't like the t-shirt that we're giving you, feel free to make your tote out of any t-shirt from your home that you don't wear anymore but really want to use as a beach bag. So I'm going to show you how. All you need is your t-shirt, some scissors. Fabric scissors are best, but if you don't have them, just really sharp scissors will work great. And if you want, you get a ruler and maybe a piece of chalk or a marker if you want to make sure that your lines are really even and straight. But you don't need those. You can totally eyeball it. So let's get started.
Start talking.
So I have a ton of old summer reading program shirts, and this is one from a few years ago that I happen to really like the design, but I don't always wear it, so I think it's going to make a really cute bag. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to fold it in half. Now if you don't have fabric scissors, you might have to cut through your sleeves one at a time. That's okay. But you can also fold it in half so you make sure that they're identical, but it's not really that big a deal. You're not going to notice that they're a little uneven once you have it like on your shoulder or anything. So you're going to fold it in half, and you are going to cut right along the inside of the shirt seam, okay? So make sure you cut inside the seam, and just like in a nice little curve. And you're going to cut off both sleeves. There you go, just like that. Got a little extra here on the bottom. I kind of missed the seam a little, but that's okay. And now we're going to cut around the neck, so make sure it's nice and even. I'm going to kind of turn it like this, and so I'm going to do kind of a U shape. So I'm going to start a little bit down here, so I don't want to cut off any of the design, and I'm going to just kind of cut in a nice little U, just like that. That's going to give you your straps to hold on to it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the shirt and we are going to turn it inside out. Okay? So go ahead and turn it inside out. And then I'm going to lay it out like this so it's facing me. Okay, now what you can do is if you want to make sure that it's totally even, you can take, what I'm going to do is make sure it's nice and straight here. Okay, I'm going to take a ruler and a piece of chalk, but if you want to, like I said, don't worry about eyeballing it. It's kind of a loose bag, so it's not going to be super noticeable if it's really uneven. But I'm going to take a piece of chalk and a ruler and kind of just lightly mark up to about here. And that's going to be about, so you want to go up maybe about 3 inches. I think I went up a little high there, so I might do another line just a little bit lower. And that's, well, really going to determine how deep your bag is going to be. So if you want it to be a shallower bag, you can make it go up much higher. So there's my line across. Now we're going to cut some strips. Now I'm going to cut all the way up to my mark here. Okay. And probably about like 1 inch wide on your strips. Okay. So just like that. Oops. And if you've ever made the no-sew blankets, this is kind of like the same thing. I'm just gonna cut right up to my line there. Make sure that you're cutting through both strips and just go all the way across. And don't worry too much about what these strips look like, if they're kind of jaggedy or whatever, because you're going to turn the bag right side out and you're not even going to see them. This is just what's gonna keep your bag closed so nothing falls out. But we're gonna do it without sewing, which is even better because I am horrible at sewing. So if I can make something without sewing, I am all for it. I'm gonna do one more. Oh, and then with your last strip, I know it's a little weird, but you gotta kind of cut that last edge strip in half, which is, and I'm gonna do the same one to this one over here that didn't get cut in half. All right, so now you have all your strips cut. So it's gonna look like you have a fringe going on here on the bottom of your shirt. And we're just gonna simply tie all of our strips together. So you're gonna go right down the line and just tie them all together. Really easy. And sometimes it's easy to kind of get lost where you are, like me. Notice I'm only single tying it right now. We are gonna close them up and secure them, so don't worry yet. So everything is tied, but as you can see, if we left it like this, it's not gonna be very secure. Obviously, we have great big holes at the bottom. It's not gonna hold stuff very well. So now what we're gonna do is go back to where we started. Okay, and what you're gonna do is you are gonna take your top one, okay? You're gonna take your top one, this one here, and you're gonna tie it to this one. This time we're gonna double it. Now you're gonna take the bottom from that one and tie it to the bottom fringe of the next one. So you're just gonna keep taking the top and then tying it to the bottom adjacent one, and then just go right down the line. Okay? So now we're gonna take this top one and tie it to this bottom one. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna kind of close up all your little gaps and really secure it. And once again, don't worry too much about what it looks like, because it's not going to show. So we just take our top adjacent one and tie it to the bottom of the adjacent one. Now, if you lose track of where you are, don't worry about having a spot with like an extra knot. If anything, that's just going to make it a little bit more secure, so that's okay. Especially kind of hard once you start getting all the knots in there, especially with like a solid gray shirt. I probably could have chose something a little bit easier to tell where I was. All right. And then just a nice double knot at the end to make sure it's nice and tight. All right, so once you have it all knotted just like that, you can see, kind of pull some really nice and tight because you want to make sure that you got no gaps. If you see any gaps in there that maybe you missed, you might want to try tying a couple more together. Like I said, having some extra knots in there is not going to hurt anything. All right, and now we are going to take our tote and we are going to flip it inside out. And there you go. You have your own little beach bag.